Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I've just got a few headlines that I wanted to share with you. And so we're going to start with this one from the Washington Examiner. Schiff accuses intelligence community of withholding documents from Congress on the issue of Ukraine. They are desperate, folks. The Democrats have no case. They're going into this impeachment and they know they have no case. So they're going to claim that, well, somebody's obviously got to be hiding something from us, because if you would show us all the documents, we know there's got to be some dirt in there somewhere. Something's going to get him. Adam Schiff, House Intelligence Committee Chairman, claimed the intelligence community, particularly the National Security Administration, is withholding potentially relevant documents from Congress regarding Ukraine. And, of course, appearing on Sunday ABC's This Week, the California Democrat accused the agency of refusing to hand over documents related to Ukraine to lawmakers ahead of President Trump's Senate impeachment trial, which will begin on Tuesday. The intelligence community is beginning to withhold documents from Congress on the issue of Ukraine, he said. They appear to be succumbing to pressure from the administration. The NSA, in particular, is withholding what are potentially relevant documents to our oversight responsibilities on Ukraine, but also withholding documents potentially relevant that the senators might want to see during the trial. Now, see, here's the problem, folks. The House was supposed to make their case in the House. That's what that entire time was supposed to be. And we've been sitting here listening to this garbage for months now. Unfortunately, this is the only side people have heard. They were supposed to make sure back then, when it was still in the House before they voted, that they had their case. That's how it works. And the prosecutors all of a sudden are going, oops, no, we don't have our case built yet. We've got to have more. We have to have more to build our case. No, I'm sorry. You were supposed to do that before you voted on the articles of impeachment. So as far as I'm concerned, if it were up to me, I wouldn't give them one lick of witness. I would not give them one. But in fairness, I guess maybe they could, but I think they've already had plenty of opportunity to have their witnesses. What I'd like to see, if they want to bring him back, would be that ICIG, because his transcript was never released. And I'd like to see what he had to say, because he was the guy that passed on the whistleblower complaint. Anyway, so this is how it's all going to start happening. But fortunately, the Democrats are not going to be in charge this time, and we will get a chance to see some information. Now, I watched this morning, I'm recording this on Sunday night, I watched the Maria Bartiromo with Ted Cruz on there. And Ted Cruz was saying that there will be equitable witnesses. And if the Democrats want 3 witnesses, then Trump gets 3 witnesses. I hope it's really not like that, because the Democrats did already have their chance. So there's no need for any more witnesses on their part. They should have gotten them before they voted on the articles of impeachment and before they sent them over. Oh, and that sending them over, did you see that? Okay, the thing with the pens. I've got to tell you this, folks. The thing with the pens was Nancy Pelosi saying, I'm going to be president. It was, because that's what Obama used to do. Obama used to take a pen and write like one letter and then hand it off to somebody. And then he'd take another pen and write another letter and hand it off. And so all of the pens were used in writing that. That was not just to give everybody souvenirs. That was a I have more power than the president moment. That's how I saw it when I saw it happen. It's like, I can't believe she did that. Oh, anyway, sorry about that little rant. Had to. Let's go on. So this article right here, I'll just leave the link down below. You can watch it there. And he wants to blame the NSA for withholding documents. That's the reason. They're going to have somebody to blame when it all fails. You know that. But anyway, before I go on to the next one, I wanted to tell you too that I listened to a clip from Mark Levin's radio show, and I won't have a link for this one. I'm sorry, folks, but I will put the clip in. And it's Sidney Powell. The whole interview was kind of interesting, but it really wasn't much more than you know, because if you've been watching my videos on Mike Flynn, you already know what's happening. So there was nothing new that you wouldn't already know if you've seen my other videos. But she did have an interesting comment about the Friday that's coming up here of the beginning of the impeachment week. So listen to what she has to say.
We'll do it. Thank you so much, Mark. And we're not going to quit until we win, and I'm going to expose every bit of it. Friday next week is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be epic.
So yeah, it's going to be epic, folks. And especially since our dear friend, the 17th letter of the alphabet, is back. Yeah, so some big stuff is going to happen this week. Really big. Okay, anyway, going on, I had this tweet. Boom, boom, boom. Former chairman of the West Virginia Democrat Party and member of Democrat Executive Committee, Larry Puccio, resigns to support Republican governor. The impeachment proceedings weighed heavy in his decision. Quote, the Democrat Party is no longer for America. Yep. And I think we're going to see that more and more, because it used to not be so far apart. When I was growing up, Democrats were not that far from Republicans really in their essence. I mean, we're not talking political people, but we're talking the average person on the street. Now there's such a huge divide, especially when you look at the Democrat Party itself. It's so far from the regular American values that I grew up with. It doesn't even resemble our country anymore. So I thought that was interesting. I'll put the link down below. You can comment on it if you want to. Remember that anytime I put in a tweet, the link to the tweet, you can go there whether you have an account or not, and you'll still be able to see it. Okay, then I thought you'd be interested to see this one. Donald Trump's top Russia expert on National Security Council is escorted off the White House grounds amid a security investigation. His name's Andrew Peek, is on leave from NSC pending a security investigation. Reports say Peek is the senior director for European and Russian affairs on the NSC. He was escorted from the White House grounds on Friday, sources say. Peek's two predecessors testified in the House impeachment inquiry, and that would be Morrison and Fiona Hill that were before him. But yeah, so there he is, and it says two people familiar with the matter told Bloomberg. So Peek had been in the NSC role for just 2 months, after most recently working as a Deputy Assistant Secretary of State with responsibility for Iran and Iraq. So thought that was kind of interesting. Wonder what's going on there. And then there's this from Breitbart. This is Devin Nunes says CNN in defiance of federal judge order to respond to defamation lawsuit. Now, we've talked about Devin Nunes's lawsuit before, and the court ordered CNN to respond to Devin Nunes, and they never did. And so that's what he's talking about here. If you go down here, here's an interview you can listen to. 17 minutes. 17:20 actually. But 17 minutes there, and you can go through and listen to that. So he just basically, that's what he was saying about the lawsuit, is that they have not responded yet, and that's in defiance of what the judge told them to do, which shouldn't surprise any of us, right? And so anyway, this is what I've got for you. I did want to point out to you that the 17th letter of the alphabet, as you probably know by now, did weigh in tonight, and that was kind of unusual actually, because the research board was having some major problems. I tried to get in earlier today and I got an error message, and then when he did show up, it was kind of hard for me to respond to him. I had to try about 6 times before I could get it to post, and even then it wasn't refreshing. And so yeah, it was under heavy attack tonight. Just wanted to let you know that. But the information is getting out there. There's more and more being dug up all the time. We're still researching, and that's always a good thing. So I did want to show you that. I'm working on a couple of things for later. I don't know how this week is going to play out. Okay, folks, I really don't know. I'm hearing like 12-hour days. And if they're 12-hour long hearings, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I've been kind of resting this weekend. I had a family commitment that was really well worth being there. And I just had to rest after that. So that's why I haven't had too many videos this past week. But we're going to get there. I don't know exactly what the schedule is going to be like for the hearing itself. I think some of it's going to depend on what the Democrats decide to do. I have a feeling that they're going to want to try to legislate as much as possible, which means that they will probably complain to the courts if the Democrats don't get their way and they don't get the witnesses that they want, because that tends to be what they do. They go to the court first. So I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but it's a possibility, I guess. However, I did find out that they're not allowed to, the senators are allowed to ask questions, but they don't ask them verbally. They write them down and give them to the Chief Justice, which is John Roberts, and then he reads them. So that should cut out a lot of the grandstanding, and it should cut out a lot of the viciousness that some of these people make, the snide comments and everything that the Democrats have been doing like they did in the House. So I don't think we're going to see any of that. I don't think we're going to see the theatrics that we've been seeing. So it should be a lot calmer in that respect. And I do agree with what Ted Cruz had to say, that there should be a trial. Okay? I think, and I've been saying this for quite a while, that I think this was part of the plan, because the American people had to see the other side of the story. How do you get the American people to pay attention to something when all of the news media is not going to carry it? You have it in the trial. And if these items come up in the trial, there's a lot of evidence. And it's very possible that the NSA is withholding documents. But I guarantee they're not going to be documents against Trump. They're going to be documents for him. And that's very possible that the NSA is, because there's a lot of stuff they need to be able to provide. And even with Mike Flynn, keep in mind, the reason a lot of these documents for Mike Flynn are not coming out yet is because they're being used in grand juries. And so they're being used as part of indictments for other people. So they can't release them yet. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've not, Sidney Powell has not received them. And it's probably frustrating to her, but I think the reason is because they're being used for other people. So it's just going to be very, very interesting. And don't forget, Mike Rogers, Admiral Mike Rogers, who used to be, the head of the NSA, has been cooperating and working with Durham. So I think that is hugely significant, folks. Very much so. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I can't really tell you what my week is going to be like, because it's going to be a fun ride. That's all I can say. And I do think, I agree with Sidney Powell, something epic is going to happen this week. And I think a lot of people are going to wake up to reality. A reality that they didn't know existed when they hear the evidence that Trump has to support his position. Anyway, so that's it for this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.